Right. We have 3 minutes till market open, 2 minutes till market open. We have aggressive overnight sell-off here on QQQ. Ever since yesterday's high, we just rejected all the way down to pre-market and created this pre-market low at 730. Still have tension in the Middle East. We have semiconductors selling off still. Plays that I'm looking at is a pre-market low breakout right at market open here to the downside, or potential bounce areas at my weekly level of 762, or previous week high, looking for a bounce at 722, and this is also previous all-time high. Otherwise, to the upside, looking for a break and retest above VWAP and previous day low at 732.62. Also looking for a potential break and retest of pre-market high, 735.40. The upside, or looking for a reject. If this could just be a lower low, we come up here, retest pre-market high, then reject for the downside. So I want to see how price plays out at pre-market high. And the only other reject area I have is all the way up at previous day high at 743.50. That is the plan for today. At about 5 seconds until market open. We are trying to hold pre-market low as a bounce. Nvidia is flushing pre-market low. SPY is trying to do the same. All right, taking a pre-market low breakout. Stopped out of this breakout. It's not breaking out. It's frustrating. Loss number one. We're bouncing pre-market low. I didn't think we'd bounce pre-market low again after your sell-off. Rejecting VWAP. Back above VWAP. Attempting to hold my weekly level here. Not really interested until we get previous day low, break and retest, or break and retest at pre-market low. I want to continue selling off. SPY is trying to hold pre-market low. NVIDIA with an aggressive buying wick right there. Google's holding pre-market low. Everything else above its opening print. We are trying to hold the first 5-minute candle point of control as support right at pre-market low. NVIDIA showing some weakness. Amazon's rejecting previous week low and pre-market high. Apple's rejecting previous day high. SPY is trying to hold pre-market low. They have a break and retest on the 1 minute setting up here. We are below point of control. We formed a new point of control at pre-market low. Alright, I do like shorts here. Going for a break and retest of pre-market low. Should have entered right at pre-market low, not chased it down here. There we go. You'll continue flushing more. Need SPY to break previous day low. Wow, that's an aggressive bounce. Point of control, previous point of control, 729, right below pre-market low. Currently behind current point of control, we need to break below it. We need to flush this low today. A little bit more before I can take my first trim. Come on, give me a little bit more. And then we bounce. Right before I was going to trim. There we go. Take my first trim, 30% 2-hour moving stops break even. The video needs to flush. New point of control is 728.80. 10 more percent from an extra be around 762, my weekly level. We have an aggressive bounce. Taking my second trim, 54%. Keeping stops at break even. Next stop, trim, I'm looking at 100%. However, once we get to 80%, I'm going to move up my stop to 30% in profit for a 2R. Just secure my loss from secure my first loss. We can have NVIDIA break down a previously low flush. We have big tech rejecting pre-market high, previous day high. We could see a lot of move down to previous week high, all-time high. And they gotta be mindful of SPY's previous week high right there as well. All right, I'm moving stops to 30% in profit, which will be about 269 for a 2R stop loss exit. Just ensure that I am up on the day and eats up the first loss. Still looking for my next trim at 100% in profit. Looking for a full potential exit at previous week high and all-time high. Apple's the only one divergent from the market. Nvidia needs to break low of day. Amazon, we need to get below previous day close. SPY is still looking weak. Need 10 more percent for my next trim. All right, taking my next trim. Keeping stops at 2R, or no, 50%. We're going to do a 50% trailing drawdown. 50%. So 50% trailing drawdown. It's a little bit below my break even just because of where it came. But yesterday I made the mistake of manually trailing my 50% drawdown in terms of entry price, and they stopped me out. Still secured good profit yesterday, but left some room on the table. So now I'm just going to automate it. I got a 50% trailing drawdown in place from contract highs. So looking at either trimming at 200%, 300%, so every 100% taking one contract off, and then continue trailing. Also looking for a full potential exit at previous week high. However, I don't want this all the way at 213. But we'll just give this trade a lot of room to breathe. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll leave it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to not do a trailing drawdown until we do hit 150%. The reason is I want to ensure I get stopped out. If I get stopped out at I'll still give it room to breathe. I need to be stopped out at a 2R minimum. Obviously, it'll be a little bit more because I took a trim at 50% and 100%. But I don't want it to pull all the way back to break even when it hit 100%. So I will leave stops at 30%. Once it gets to 150%, then I'll move into a trailing stop motion. Or actually, yeah, 150%. 150 or 200%, depending on price here. It looks like it wants to bounce. What I should be doing, if it's at 100%, I should be putting my stops at 50%, but I'll give it some room to breathe. I need to reject this weekly level. Break and retest my weekly level I had. Nvidia wants to bounce. SPY is bouncing. We have positive delta here on volume footprint. However, we're not at any key levels. Previous point of control is 726. Currently, we're rejecting weekly level and currently below previous point of control. If we can close below that, that'll give me more confidence to stay in this trade for further downside. NVIDIA rejecting VWAP. The other big tech aren't doing much. SPY needs to break this candle low again, same with QQQ for continued downside momentum. I'm gonna move my stops to 50% in profit for a little bit above 3R, just because that would be stop loss right above this weekly level. We should hold below it. If we break back above it, we could be going all the way back up, chasing pre-market low, which I don't want to move all the way back to. So I'm gonna put stops at 310. So still giving a decent amount of room to trade. What do you call it? A lot of room on this trade. Oh, plenty of room still, even at plenty of room breaking out of this structure. That's my stop loss. And then if I get stopped out, it's at 50% in profit, so 3R. QQQ is still looking weaker than SPY. Really targeting previous week high, previous all-time high as a potential full exit. I may trim majority of my position at that level and leave one tiny runner just to see where it goes. SPY's trying to break below its previous week high. Once we get to 150%, I'm going to action trail and move my stop to 100% in profit. $150, all right. 414 is 100% in profit. Breaking below previous week high. I'm going to trim half my position once we get to 200% if we get there. We are approaching previous week high and a previous all-time high. There could be potential support down here. Early bouncing already from previous week high. But if we do lose support of previous week high and all-time high, we have a lot of room to continue flushing. With an aggressive bounce. We are having some early buyers step in a little bit before previous week high. Back below previous point of control. If this can flip green to red on this 5 minute, that's good momentum and continue trend to the downside. SPY is attempting to hold its previous week high. If NVIDIA can break below its previous day low, we should be able to see a flush. But if it holds in a bounce, we need to be mindful for that. Apple rejecting previous day high, pre-market high. A lot of buyers are stepping in now in QQQ. And with Amazon, if we can break below pre-market low and previous day low, and NVIDIA, that should drive QQQ down. So we want to hold this. I don't think we want to flush through it. Point of control, current is 724, we're above it. I'll leave my stops at 100% in profit. All right, stopped out of that trade. Having to hold an early bounce of previous week high and all-time high. Sure, I could have had tighter, wider stops, but I didn't want my contracts to go all the way back down to 50%. Potentially looking at a full exit down here anyway, so overall, pretty happy with the second trade outcome. Took a break and retest of pre-market low. Chased it a little bit down here. Could have waited until we came back and touched pre-market low. Could have got a little bit better premium and entry and ride this down. Other area I could have looked at, not really my setup. I need to start paying more attention to VWAP rejection, where there's a key level if I'm have downside bias. So we got VWAP rejection weekly. That could have been an entry point. Need to just stop taking opening breakouts. Most of the times, even if I've had success to the upside, there's retest opportunities just like this. This made me, miss out my trade. Could have been a little more patient and look for a retest entry right here. But overall, happy with the second trade. I'm going to skip doing first trades. Happy with the way that I managed the trade in terms of trim. I think I'll continue moving stop losses. When I get to 100%, I'll move it to 50%. 150%, I'll move it to 100%, just like today. That's for me already a pretty wide enough stop. I don't want to make it even wider than that. But right now we are trying to hold previous week high and all-time high as a bounce area. We'll see if this holds up, or if we just come up to my weekly level and reject back down. But overall, going to go enjoy the session, rest of the Friday, the weekend, and my birthday. But 1 hour of work, pretty happy. Let's see what we ended the day with. Yeah, $2,700 even after the loss this morning. So can't complain with that.